episode 168 for you guys today. Once my co-host Rob Sarasulo goes ahead and joins in with us, we'll go ahead and get today's episode started. What's up, Rob?
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. How's it going?
Good, man. Can't complain. Came back from vacation a week or so ago. How's it going for you?
It's been good. I need a damn vacation. Shit. But no, it's been pretty good. We went to I went to Six Flags New Jersey recently with McKenna, which was pretty fun.
Oh, okay.
And we went to the beach a couple weeks ago, Ocean City, but other than that, it's been pretty much same old with work and everything. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, it's been good.
that's good. Good to hear, man.
So we're gonna be talking about some fantasy today. Looks like.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got two other people that's supposed to fill out our slots for this year. If not, if you have anybody that you think of, take the last one,
Mhm.
since some players won't be returning from last year.
So just any one person I can find.
Yeah, that you keep up with it and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm game.
All right. We go ahead and get started. This will be me and you only tonight.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead and get started. All right. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from Onthehop podcast. Today, this is gonna be episode 168 for you guys. Today, I'm joined by my co-host Rob Sarasulo. It'll be us two on this week's episode. So the NFL season a few weeks away, Rob. We're gonna be sharing our division winners. We'll start off with the AFC conference. We'll work our way through each division. We'll start off with the AFC East. So, which team this year do you think will win the AFC East, Rob?
So the AFC East is that I get them mixed up all the time. The Ravens and them. That's the North, right?
Yeah, their division's the North. This one's got like the Dolphins,
Oh,
Patriots,
okay.
Jets. Yeah,
Okay. Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, and who's the last team?
Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. Oh, Bills also.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Um, shit. I mean, that's kind of a toss up, you know. I mean, I feel like the
Yeah,
Bills. I feel like the Bills got worse because they lost Diggs. Um, I don't know how that's going to pan out for Josh Allen. He already turned the ball over a lot, given he did, score a lot of points, throw for a lot of touchdowns, rush for a lot of yards, etc. He also plays hero ball and turns the ball over a lot. The Dolphins, they're a wild card too because they beat up on bad teams. All of their losses came against good teams. And the Jets, I really don't know how they're going to look because we never got to see Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. This could be completely wrong. I'm going to say the Jets. I'm going to say the Jets because they have a top defensive unit in the league, one of the top units in the league. They have so much talent on both sides of the ball. The only thing that held him back last year was Zach Wilson. And, you know, he's a forgotten man now in the Broncos quarterback room. Bo Nix is probably going to start there. So,
facts.
yeah, I'm going to say the Jets. I'm going to I'm going to say that Aaron Rodgers has a healthy season, hoping that he does because I love to see him play with that team. Um, Garrett Wilson has his best year yet, and I think it's a tight race between those top three teams. The Patriots are obviously not winning more than 4 games, so I think the Jets win that division in a tight race to the end. I think the Jets take it.
Yeah, man, that's close because I was thinking just like them. It was either them or the team I'm about to say. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins to win this division. I'm gonna touch base on what you just said. The Bills, they were a team that struggled in the first half. Josh Allen really took a while for him to get going, being a turnover machine. It took them a lot for them to get into the playoffs and get into the divisional round in the first place.
Yeah.
And I said last year that their championship window was closing, and I think it's closed with losing guys like Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer,
I
Mike
forgot they
Hyde.
lost all of them.
Yeah, and they just won this division for the last 4 out of the 5 years, or last 5 years, I should say. I think this Dolphins team is ready to go. I like the offensive tracks team that they have. Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle,
Right.
Raheem Mostert at running back, Odell Beckham if he could be a difference maker if healthy, playing in the slot. I like their defense though because if they could get healthy and get going with pieces of Jalen Ramsey. And Bradley Chubb, once he returns from that torn ACL injury he suffered towards the end of the season. This team finished in a lot of top 5 units, top 5 in pass rush, and top 5 in stopping the run. So I think this team has what it takes to win this division.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it right here, though, I think they will end up having the easiest schedule in the AFC East. But yeah, I do. I can see it going either way between the Jets and the Dolphins, though, for sure, because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like you said, we haven't seen the full potential of what Aaron Rodgers will look like for the Jets because, unfortunately, the man's Achilles blown up in like 4 plays.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if their offensive line can just hold up for him for at least, I mean, I know it's hard for any offensive lineman to protect their quarterback for more than 3 to 4 seconds in the league. But if they give him time to sit there, drop back with Garrett Wilson, get the running game going with Breece Hall. I think they got Mike Williams too during the offseason. If he could come back and be the same player he was from
Yeah,
his season-ending injury.
they did.
Yeah,
Mike Williams. That's right.
yeah, I do like that Jets team a lot though. But I'm gonna give the nod to the Dolphins. The one thing that concerns me though is the thing you said about them beating up on bad teams because in the last 2 years, the only team, of course, that they beat above 500 was the Cowboys. And other than that, they haven't beat a team over 500 since like week 3 when they beat the Ravens in 2022. So, yeah. I think that is going to be a tight race, though. But that's going to be a division to look out for. Rod, for the AFC West, I'm pretty sure we're going to have the same answer for this one. Who do you have winning the AFC West?
That's Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, and who else? Is that the teams
Yeah,
AFC West?
and Broncos in
Oh
there,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Broncos. Okay, yeah, yeah. That's an easy answer. I mean, Broncos are rebuilding. The Chargers are going to take a step back because they lost their whole wide receiver room. And the Raiders have a hot QB battle between Aiden McConnell and Gardner Minshew. So Pat,
That's fact.
Pat Mahomes is just going to cruise right on into the playoffs and probably win it all again. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think for this scenario with the AFC West, I agree with you. It's a team that's going to run away with them. The Chiefs, they're back-to-back Super Bowl champions. They have actually won this division for the last 8 years in a row. So they've been steamrolling this division for a long time. As long as Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid are all together in KC, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't win this division. But like you said, there is a quarterback battle of the mids. Well, Gardner Minshew isn't really mid. He's just like not on that top tier quarterback talent. He's a good veteran to have, but I wouldn't really want to have him as a starter the whole season. But I guess you get what you get for their situation. Bo Nix, once he does win that Broncos battle, that quarterback battle, He's got a long hill to climb. Him and Sean Payton got a long ways to go of making that team a contending team. And the Chargers, I think they'll be a better overall team in terms of having that winning culture there with Jim Harbaugh. But they don't have, I think their best wide receiver right now, I can't even name him off the
Well,
top of my head.
I think it's Lad
Oh, yeah,
McConkey.
their rookie from Georgia. Yeah, other than that,
He's tough.
there's, yeah,
He's tough. He's going to be really good.
yeah. Other than that, they have nobody. And then they got Greg Roman. Why would you bring Greg Roman, a run-first offensive coordinator with a quarterback of Justin Herbert? I
Because
think that was their downfall. But
look at what Jim Harbaugh did at Michigan. They just ran the ball the whole time. They ran it down people's throats. I mean, that's probably what they're going to do. And they got Gus Edwards, and they got the Ravens backfield, J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards.
that is
So,
true.
you know, that should be fun. This should be I think they're still a sneaky team. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but they could. It just depends.
Yeah,
AFC is loaded though, so I don't know.
they still do have some defensive pieces of Nick Bosa, Khalid Mack, and Derwin James still there. So the defensive pieces are still there. The only thing that really concerns me is that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, guys like that, aren't there anymore in their receiver room. So that makes me think, when is Justin Herbert going to reach this? I mean, a lot of people think he is this elite guy. I want to see him reach like his peak, but I can't see you reach your peak if you have really no studs in your wide receiver room.
Yeah, I mean, I do think McConkey is going to be a good receiver in this league. I do. His route running is like he's got elite route running. So route running gets you very far in football, and you can play it for a long time if that's your best attribute because you're relying on like technicals and he's going to get peppered with the ball. He's going to get so many targets. I'll get to him in fantasy later, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, can't wait to be on that Thursday with you, man. I think this one's gonna be the best one, Rob. Best division in the AFC, the AFC North. I think this is gonna be the best division in the AFC and in the NFL this year. Four teams that could do some things, some damage if they reach their potential. Who do you see winning the AFC North?
Dude, that's such a toss up. They all could, if you think about it. They really all could. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be the Ravens again. To be honest, I mean they just have a loaded team still. Their defense is still top notch. Given the Browns still have a top notch defense too, but the Ravens have Lamar Jackson. At least in the regular season for several years, they've been probably the best team there. With exception to the Bengals for a couple of the seasons. For the most part, the last I don't know, since Lamar's been in the league, they've been a top team. So, I respect Lamar. Like I always say, like I need to see him take that next step and win some playoff games. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I respect his game. He's one of the best in the league, and I think that they can go very far with that run game with him and Derrick Henry. So, not it's going to be tight between them and probably all of them. To be honest, they're probably all going to be fighting for it. I don't think the Steelers will be up there in that fight to the end. They'll be close, but not quite. Um, and the Browns, it's like I don't know what to think of Deshaun Watson anymore. I really don't. I really have no idea what to think of that guy. So it's going to be between Joey B and Lamar, and I think Lamar gets him by one game. I think between the two of them, they like split the series, and then the Ravens have one more win from another team at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out.
Mm.
I do have the Bengals winning this division this year.
It's valid.
I think I think it's their time. I think Joe Burrow and company are ready to really get back to where they were when everything was clicking and everybody was healthy a few years ago. And this could be the last time that we see an offensive Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins with them trying to figure out the money situation in Cincinnati. So I think they'll make the best of it this year, winning the AFC North. I think they are the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs this year.
Yeah.
They revamped their defense, kind of retooled their offensive line during the offseason. I like the Ravens a lot. I think they still will be a threat in the AFC. I just don't see them win this division because there are some things they lost during the offseason. They lost 3 offensive lineman starters,
Mm.
several defensive players, and their defensive coordinator, Mike McDonald. I think that's a huge loss for their defense of how they were wrecking everybody on that side of the ball last year. I
Yeah.
do agree with you with the Brown situation, man. Deshaun Watson, I don't know what to think of him anymore either. I think he's gonna make it or break a year. The
Yeah.
man is not producing like he did when he did with the Texans back in 2020. The Steelers, the thing with them is their defense alone and Mike Tomlin can keep them in ball games and keep them afloat. But their offense, what I've seen out of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, has been ugly this preseason. Like there is no there's no X
Yeah.
factor in that offense other than George Pickens. So it makes me question how good can they even be if you have no offensive talent moving the ball down the field or being an X factor against these opposing defenses. So I do like the Bengals winning this division. Ravens, I think I do agree with you. It can come down to a one game, maybe towards the end of the season, of what decides or what happens with that division for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be tight. I mean, the Bengals. It could go either way. I really think it could go either way. But yeah, no, the Bengals are definitely looking better than they were last year, I would say. But like you
That is true.
said, T. Higgins, man, I don't think he'll be there after this year, which is fine. They'll live, but yeah,
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna test the free agent market and just go with them wherever the money takes him this year. I mean, he deserves it for sure,
yeah.
but I don't see a scenario in Cincinnati if how they can keep all 3 of them
He
with cap space and stuff.
he probably wants to see if he can be a number one somewhere. Sure, he's.
That is true. Also, yeah,
I'm sure he's thinking that he's got the talent.
that could be a pickup for you guys in the future, man. To play with neighbors.
And we don't really need him, honestly. I think we have a better receiver room, way better now. I like Hyatt and Wandale. Um, Slayton's probably about to be gone. Uh, yeah, I like them 3 guys that I mentioned. So, I don't know.
Yeah. And last division in the AFC, you have the AFC South. I think we're gonna have the same answer for this one. Who do you have winning the AFC South this year, Rob?
Who's bro? I don't know why I don't know this right now. Who is in that division?
So you have the Texans,
Oh,
Titans, yeah, Jaguars, and Colts.
Texans. That's an easy answer. I mean, they only got better this year, and C.J. Stroud had one of the best rookie years for a quarterback that I can remember. He looks elite. I think he's a top 10 QB in the league right now. Uh, Probably within the top 7, if you're asking me. Um, you know, he's he's lights out. He's got what it takes. He had a dump. He did not have a great receiver core last year. I mean, he had Nico Collins and Tank Dell. That helped a lot, but he made use of Noah Brown. He made use of Dalton Schultz. Not saying Schultz is bad, but he's not great. He's solid.
Yeah,
But he made him look pretty damn good. So, I'm taking them. They got Joe Mixon now. They got Diggs on offense. Retooled their defense. Got Daniil Hunter, I think, right? They got
yeah,
Daniil Hunter. Yeah, and they had an edge rusher leave that was really good, but they ended up getting Daniil Hunter. They basically swapped edge rushers, Minnesota and Houston. But yeah, no, they're looking real good. I like Derek Stingley a lot. He's one of the best young corners in football. Um, you know, I like them quite a bit to make a run, and I think they too have a shot at beating KC. I really do. With that team,
that's true.
I think they have a shot. The AFC is loaded, man. It's loaded. It is the varsity of the NFL, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I like everything you said. I like the Texans winning this division as well. Everything that they did last year was spectacular. Being the second worst team, for turning around and going 10-7, winning a playoff game last year, winning this division. They gotten better, like you said. Daniil Hunter playing alongside of Will Anderson on that pass rush. That's going to help them in the pass rush department. Joe Mixon being there in the backfield, I think that's going to help as well. Stephon Diggs, I don't think they really need him, but that's going to be just the boost that they need to get over to the next level. Um, Everybody else in this division is just like, I'm not going to say mid, but they're not on the level of the Texans. Like the Colts, I think they're the Texans' biggest competition in this division because they went 9-8 last year, really without Anthony Richardson, really for most of the year. Shane Steichen did a good job coaching this team. Jaguars, I can, how can I really depend on the Jaguars at this point? Because Trevor Lawrence, stat wise, if you put stat and stat together, I showed you the stat. He has identical numbers to Daniel Jones, and you're supposed to be this generational talent. I have yet to see it, so I can't believe in that Jaguars. And then the Titans, looking at this team, they did some decent moves. I mean, they got Ladarius Sneed from the Chiefs at cornerback that could help them defensively. Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, and Tony Pollard, that really doesn't move the needle for me. For
Yeah,
offensive weapons, I think they're all decent at best. So maybe they might help Will Levis in his sophomore season, but not to the level of competing with the Texans and the Colts in this division. So I definitely think that the Texans have a lock on this division for sure.
yeah. You know, I see the same excuse everywhere I look about Trevor Lawrence, uh, about his rookie year being with Urban Meyer. Yeah,
Shows something.
sure, Urban Meyer, but for one, it's been a few years and you still haven't shown me anything. You haven't taken that next step. And, you know, if that's an excuse for Trevor Lawrence, then why isn't it an excuse for Daniel Jones? I mean, I'm not defending Daniel Jones. I'm not saying he's good, but I'm saying that he was in a similar situation with Dave Gettleman, with Jason Garrett, with Joe Judge. You know, what was
True.
he supposed to do with that? And that was for more than 1 year. So, um, you know, we'll see what happens with DJ this year, but I feel like Trevor Lawrence should be on a tighter leash than he is, honestly. I mean, for a number one pick, you're supposed to be doing something by now. And, you know, the best thing he's done was come back against the Chargers. And I think that was more the Chargers just being the Chargers than anything. But, yeah, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I agree because that year that you just said, the wild card comeback of the Chargers just collapsing, and that was his best year, which was 9-8 at best. Like I have yet to see him win double-digit games in an NFL regular season. He's been there long enough, and they keep giving him a slap on the wrist. This is what happened. That's why I feel like at sometimes I agree with everything you said about Daniel Jones. Like he's been through the ringer too with several coaches. Yeah, y'all been through the ringer with
Dude,
several coaches, but like
yeah, it's bad.
it's like the media portrays their favorite from years how they traject their careers are going to go, and then when it's time for them to show up and be this generational talent, there's excuse after excuse of why they haven't reached the level they should have. When he was this glorified quarterback at Clemson, going undefeated, defeating Alabama in a national championship. Now it's just like, oh well, he doesn't have the pieces. He didn't. He had Urban Meyer. I'm tired of these excuses for him. So it's
He's
just like you're like,
got a good team.
yeah,
He's got a good team, I think. I mean, they're not elite, but they're good, you know.
yeah,
Should be able to elevate your team at least a little bit if you're a damn number one pick, right? You know, not
indeed.
just be there. You're the leader, not the passenger, you know. You're driving the boat. You
That
ain't
is
sitting
facts.
in the passenger seat. Hmm. Yeah. I don't think he's very good, personally.
I don't think so either. So we're gonna move on to the NFC side of things, Rob. Same thing with the AFC. Share the NFC division winners. We'll start off with our division, the NFC East. Who do you think is gonna win the NFC East this year?
Hmm. I'm going to say the Eagles. Um, just because they had a really good offseason. Their draft was money. They hit on a lot of picks, even value picks. Um, they hit on several. Cooper DeJean being a big one for me. They drafted a linebacker, Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Oh,
Um,
see, yeah,
his dad played in the NFL, and he was really good. They drafted him in like the fifth or sixth round. He was projected to be like a second or third round guy. That's just a couple. They've obviously drafted great for years and years. I want to say at least the last 4 years, they've drafted very well. Obviously getting Saquon is very good for them. I think that upgrades the run game for sure. Not taking anything away from Swift, but I think that Saquon is a different beast.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think the Eagles win. It's going to be tight between them and the Cowboys, of course, as it has been the last few years. But I just don't trust the Cowboys right now. Their run game is suspect at best.
yeah.
They have Zeke leading the backfield once again. I don't know why. Um, Dak is, he'll be good. At least we know in the regular season, but Lord knows what'll happen once this playoff football, baby. So, you know, I mean, we're not talking about that anyways right now. We're just talking about who wins the division. But I want to say the Eagles do it. Pretty tight battle, but probably by a game or two. So,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Eagles are going to win this division because it's crazy. If you think about it, Rob, in our division, there hasn't been a back-to-back division winner since 2004. And it's 2024. That is actually wild. So I'm going to go with history repeating itself and pick a new division winner this year. But I agree with you. The Eagles did everything that they were supposed to this offseason, drafted well, got Saquon Barkley, got some key pieces during the NFL offseason for their defense as well. I think they're going to be a true heavyweight contender again in the NFC like we've seen over the last few years. I think they're going to rewrite their wrong. I hate to say it. They rewrite their wrong of that 10-1 collapse. They could have had the number one seed, could have won the NFC East, and then they got dog walked by Baker Mayfield and company in the wild card game. So I think they're going to avenge that. The Cowboys, I agree with you. We got a lot of question marks and our own problems going on. I mean, why do you have a washed Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield? You let him walk to replace him, and then you bring him back a year later. That doesn't make sense to me. We got a lot of question marks moving forward for the future. CD Lamb is still MIA in camp, looking for a new contract.
hmm.
They're talking about renegotiating Dak Prescott before CD Lamb. So this is Jerry Jones and the Cowboys at best. So I feel like we got to work on our own problems. I think the Commanders are still a work in progress. I'm curious to see what they're going to look like this year with Dan Quinn being there for his first year.
Yeah.
He revamped our defense for the better, but towards his final games, our defense became very suspect. We had safeties playing at linebacker, made no sense at all.
That's
Yeah,
a lot of teams do that.
but I'm saying like they were the size of us, like 180, 185, like you can't do that in the NFL against the run, especially. I don't know what happened to him for his defensive scheme. So hopefully they can rebuild things. They got a quarterback there to do it, Jaden Daniels for
I think
sure. So,
I think he'll be the best rookie, in my opinion.
yeah. So I think it's just going to take some time. Giants, Rob, y'all got it. I look. I do like your guys' roster moving forward. Y'all got to move off of Daniel Jones after this. There's no more chances.
This is it right here.
Yes.
This is the season where it's like, okay, you're finally got a solid, offense with you. You got O lineman upgrades. You got a number one. You have, you don't have an elite running back anymore, but you do have a few promising running backs. I mean, Singletary's solid. The rookie running backs that we have, and then the second year guy we have, and Eric Gray, they're all promising. So it'll be a committee, but I mean, he should be able to get it done. I mean, he should at least make some noise. I mean, it's time for him to do something. You just got to get it to Neighbors. Get it in his general direction. Get him 12 targets a game because he is going to be special in this league. He's going to be very good.
Yeah,
Watching him play in preseason, the practice, I know it's only preseason, but when you know, you know. And when I see him run around on the field and I see the way he runs his routes and the way he plays the game, I see a number one. So very happy about that. Very happy. It's been some time since we've had a receiver like him.
I think he has a chance. Honestly, I know it's really early. He might be better than Marvin Harrison Jr. As
I
good as
think so. I
he
think
was
he'll
at
be better.
Ohio State. Neighbors, I agree with you. You could tell when someone has it early. This is actually your guys' best wide receiver that you have as a rookie since Odell Beckham.
Yeah,
So I'm very
and they're
excited
both from
about that.
LSU. They're both
that
from LSU.
that's true.
So they're definitely talking. Odell's probably hitting him up and talking to him. I guarantee it.
That's true.
So I'm excited, but I think for at least for this year, I don't think it's time. It's definitely not time yet. We're too young. We got a lot of young players, especially on defense. So
All right. So that means we move on to the NFC West. Who do you have winning this NFC West division?
NFC West, NFC West. Is that
This one,
49ers?
yeah.
Um, who else? Damn, what the hell?
You're good. They got the 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals in this division.
Oh, can just you can just cancel out the Cardinals. I
Yeah.
mean, they not good. The Seahawks, no, I think they're gonna. I mean, they still. I mean, I know Geno Smith had that good year, but I think he's gonna start to decline, in my opinion. I mean, he's getting up there in age. They got a great receiver core, very good receiver core, and they got some promising defensive pieces. But I think it's going to take a change in torch at quarterback for them to make it to the next step. I don't think Geno Smith is going to win the Super Bowl. So, um, hate to say it, he had a good run. But the Rams, I mean, as long as Stafford's there, like, they have a shot. I mean, I don't think they're definitely not as loaded as the 49ers, but they'll give them some issues when they play against each other. I guarantee it.
hmm
But the 49ers should win it pretty easily. They just have too good of a roster. I think they should have won the Super Bowl last year. I personally thought that they were better than the Chiefs, but you can never count out number 15. So I mean, I think that they're going to win it again, win the division again, and probably make another run. I believe, barring any injuries. But yeah, they should win it pretty easily.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have the 49ers winning this division as well. They if it wasn't for the Rams being in this division, I think this would be a clear cakewalk to winning the NFC West this year
Yeah.
because they had 4 double-digit wins over the last 4 to 5 years. They're still stacked from top to bottom. Their roster, Rob, I do agree. They should have beat the Chiefs last year, but what can you really do against Patrick Mahomes in the biggest game of the year? So, I mean, they still have everybody: Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, their defense: Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. They still got a lot of things to talk about though and fix because Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk still are sitting out. They don't have new contracts. But if they could fix that, get those key players back, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't be a true contender in the NFC again and win this division. The Rams, I think they're going to make some noise in the NFC this year.
hmm
It's just the fact they don't have Aaron Donald, number 99 anymore.
hmm
That man, I really believe he's top five all time in terms of
Oh,
defensive players.
he's a monster. Oh yeah, that is not even not even a bad take at all. That's a good take. I mean, I think he's up there. There was nobody like him. There was no interior linemen that were disrupting the game like him. I think the closest people to Aaron Donald that are still in the game right now are two people, and that is Chris Jones and Dexter Lawrence, my boy Dex.
Oh
Um,
yeah, he is. Yeah, good interior D lineman. Yeah,
they're they're the only ones, relatively, not even, no one's on Aaron Donald's level, but they're probably next after Aaron Donald in terms of best interior linemen. They just both generate so much pressure. Normally you're not supposed to, you know, be getting quarterback pressures, getting sacks, and affecting the game like that on the nose. Dexter Lawrence plays right on the nose a lot of times, like a nose tackle. So I just think it's pretty cool. But no, yeah, Aaron Donald definitely. I want to say top five to 10 all time, 100%. He's definitely a great player.
yeah. And then them losing him, and then like you said with the Seahawks team, I think Geno Smith has already reached his peak.
Yeah.
I don't see him elevating anymore, and I don't see him elevating this team anymore because they don't have a good offensive line. And you need that, especially when you're playing the 49ers twice a year and some top tier defenses that got some good pass rushers in the NFC. The Cardinals are still a work in progress. Maybe Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. can make things work, but they still got a lot of things to fix on in
Yeah.
Arizona. Maybe be a competitive team in the next year or so. But yeah, I definitely think the 49ers got this division on lock for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I think this next one's interesting. What do you think about the NFC North? Who do you have winning that division?
That's Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, and the Bears, right?
Yeah,
Oh man, yeah, that's tough. Wow, that might be one of the better divisions in football, honestly.
I think it'll be the second best division this year, behind the AFC North.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit, they're a top team at this point. Their offense is loaded. Their defense isn't as great as some of the other top teams, and they just lost Gardner Johnson.
Yeah,
But yeah, I really don't know who they're running out there for deep at DB, but and Jordan Love is shown to be a good quarterback in this league with the Packers, and they just got Josh Jacobs, who is a very good running back, and they got some pieces on defense. They got um, shit. Why the hell I can't even remember his damn name right now. Our safety, the
what was that?
safety.
Xavier
Yeah,
McKinney.
Xavier.
Yeah,
Bro, what is wrong with me? Xavier McKinney.
good.
Yeah, no, they added Xavier McKinney. They added some other pieces. I think they'll be a very good team. The Bears are a very interesting team. Their receiver core is top notch
Yeah,
now. It went from
thanks.
being hopeless 2 years ago to all of a sudden, you got DJ Moore, you got Keenan Allen, and you got Rome Odunze. Like that is I don't know if there's a receiver core better than that. Honestly, I mean, you could make an argument for the Dolphins. You can make an argument for the 49ers, but in terms of
That
top
was
three,
nice.
top three like receiver trios, that is obviously Odunze is a rookie, but I think he'll be a very good player. Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. That's a really hard one. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the Packers. I was gonna say the Lions, but I don't know, man. I think their secondary is suspect to me right now. I don't really know who they have. I could be missing some information there, but I don't think. I think Detroit will still make a run in the playoffs. I'm not saying they won't, get a wild card and make a run, but you
Yeah.
know, I think you can't sleep on the Packers because of what they did last year. So I think the Packers take that momentum and win the division. I really do.
That ain't a bad take because a lot of people are very high on Jordan Love, after he put the belt to ass treatment on us in the wild card.
Oh yeah.
But his trajectory is pretty high. it seems like the Packers hit on another quarterback. To be honest, I mean, I don't see the way he really turned it up in the second half of the season, showing flashes of Aaron Rodgers sitting back, throwing pretty balls in the pocket. Pause. Throwing those good balls in the pocket. But you know what I mean? How you gonna say it like that?
Oh, man.
No
I
Diddy,
wasn't even thinking about
Diddy.
it until you said
But
pause.
you know what I mean. His play in the pocket was pretty nice, throwing off his back foot
Mm-hmm.
during the NFL season. So I think that's a good team to pick. I am still going to go with the Lions though. I just feel like what they showed me last season, they can't give me a reason not to believe they'll win this division again. And I think they are still the biggest threats to the 49ers heading into the season.
Yeah.
I mean, Jared Goff is a veteran quarterback that's proven time in, time out. No matter what franchise, whether the Rams or Lions, he can win some big time playoff games. Ben Johnson is coming back. I think he's one of, if not the greatest offensive coordinator in the NFL. They re-signed St. Brown, their number one wide receiver. Sam Laporta, I'll talk about him later on. Their young tight end, still got the 1-2 punch at running back of Gibbs and David Montgomery. Their defense, I do agree with you. It isn't the best. That was the name that I just thought of who they got at cornerback. They got Carlton Davis, from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, he ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, but that's better than what they had last year at cornerback.
Yeah, he's solid. He's good.
But the Packers, I think they do still have a chance to really change things around the NFC for sure. Getting Josh Jacobs was an upgrade over Aaron Jones for sure. The Bears, like, Caleb Williams is in the best situation possible
Yes.
to succeed as a rookie quarterback. Like, I can't remember the last time a rookie was set up for so much success. Like you said, the receiving trio of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Doomsday, they are set. I mean, they are completely set. The Vikings are out of it. I'm sorry to say they're out of it after that. Yeah, after that J.J. McCarthy injury and everything they've been going through, Sam Darnold is not the answer. And they're basically stuck with him unless they give up a bag of chips for a veteran quarterback of Mac Jones or trade for Trey Lance or something like that. They're stuck until next year. So, yeah, I think it is going to be – I think the Bears can keep up in the race, though. So, I think this could be a really interesting race down the stretch between the Bears, the Packers, and the Lions for who wins this division.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be going at it for that, and it could be anybody's division. That's why I went with someone different like the Packers, just because, it could all be decided with their head-to-head games, and I think the Packers will win out on that. They'll probably split it with Detroit and win both against the Bears, both against the Vikings. I think they'll be good.
Yeah, they did. They did split the series last year, 1-1 against each other, the Packers and Lions. So I think we could be in store for another 1-1 split, or maybe Packers or Lions getting the best of them in the two games that they play against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Last division in the NFC. This is going to be the worst division in football, the NFC South. So, who do you believe wins this division?
Dude, we should just skip this one, bro. This is terrible. This is absolutely horrendous, man. I don't know, man. What is it, the Bucks, the Saints? Who am I missing?
Falcons, Panthers, yeah.
Oh, Falcons, that's right. Yeah, give me the Falcons because I think, getting Kirk was a good move. I don't think that if you were going to draft Penix, I don't think it was a good move. If this was all planned, like if you were going to draft Penix, like if that was your thought process before signing Kirk, I don't think it was a good move. But, to each their own. I mean, Michael Penix is already 25 entering the NFL, and he's probably not going to start until he's like 29. So, I just don't see that working out. I really don't. So that was by far the worst draft choice of that first round, I would say. I would say that they could have waited a year or two before getting a quarterback.
That is.
But I see the vision. I mean, I know Kirk was severely injured last year, but why pay him all that money if you're worried about that? That shows that you're not worried about it. Like they're just that front office is so wishy-washy for that, but they do have a pretty good team now with Kirk. He's got weapons. He's got Bajan. He's got Kyle Pitts. He's got Drake London. I think they have a really good, set of weapons for him to utilize. Um, I don't think it's quite the caliber that he had with the Vikings with Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson um, and who was that running back? Dalvin Cook. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean he's set up pretty nice. Their defense is pretty good as well. So I think they should pretty much be able to win that division. The Bucks, them and the Bucks will be in a tight race. I think the Bucks showed that they were a better team than most think. Um, I don't know if Baker's performance was a fluke or not. I mean, he's been so up and down in his career. I really don't know. So who knows? He could turn around and absolutely shit the bed this year. So I really don't know, but I think give me the Falcons to win this division.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if the Falcons cannot win this division this year, they have no reason. Kirk Cousins has no reason for starting next year because this is the worst division I believe in football. I mean, the Bucks are there to give them a run for their money, but they have the roster to win this division this year. And the Falcons finally got a quarterback that they could depend on since the Matt Ryan days. If Kirk Cousins is healthy, good to go, he could give you top 10 production at the quarterback position. The only thing that's stopping him is the playoffs, like my quarterback, Dak Prescott. But they got Bijan Robinson in the backfield. He can make plays in the backfield, running the ball, or be a dynamic pass catcher. I want to see how he helps Drake London develop as a true number one wide receiver because it's his year to have a breakout season for sure, finally having a quarterback. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see if Kyle Pitts can finally be a productive damn tight end. The man was supposed to be this ultimate prospect from Florida, but
Yes,
I don't know if it's the schemes that the teams have been running, that Arthur Smith was running with them. I don't know what's been going on, but I think this is his year to break out too. And like you said, Rob, their defense is ready to go. Grady Jarrett at defensive tackle. They just traded for Matthew Judon this week as the pass rusher. AJ Terrell doesn't get a lot of talk about how good he is at the cornerback position too.
he's very
Um,
good.
yeah, and I think now they have one of the best. If no, they do have the best safety duo now of Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons. That they brought Justin Simmons in now too. So there is no reason why this team should not win this division this year. The Saints are just they're going
Saints
down.
are done. Saints are done.
They got
Still working up, dude.
yeah, they got a lot of veteran players still, but I'm not a believer in this team. Derek Carr, I think he blew his shot of being uh, a game changer or being a difference maker for a franchise. Dennis Allen is not trustable in big moments as a head coach, and the Panthers might as well lock them in having a top 5 selection again. There's nothing that screams excitement to me. And they should give their fans a damn discount because Bryce Young's going to be getting tore up all across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope he develops, but that offensive line is still atrocious. Like, they have no hope as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's a layup for the Falcons to win this. I agree with what you said, though, too, Rob. That Michael Penix situation is very very a sticky situation because you brought in Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix was supposed to go to a team to automatically start based on how good he was at Washington last year, a Heisman runner-up, one of the Heisman runner-ups. I just can't believe he's just going to be sitting there for a while. I think it's a quarterback that needs to play now. You're going to see his mates of Bo Nix probably go play his first season. You're going to see Caleb Williams play, Jaden Daniels play. Michael Penix should be in that conversation for players that get to play his first year too, and he's just going to be sitting on the shelf for a while. I don't think that's a right decision as well by the front office.
No, not even in the slightest. That shit was stupid, to be honest.
Yeah,
Mm-mm. I'll never understand.
yeah. Hopefully, I mean they ain't going to trade him, but hopefully he get a situation that'll be better for him, or he's just going to be sitting out for a long time. But we're gonna move on to the next segment. Rob, do NFL teams move off of young NFL quarterbacks too fast? Do they give up on young NFL quarterbacks too fast nowadays in the National Football League?
That's a tough question to answer. I mean, I don't necessarily think so. I don't know, dude. That's a tough one because everyone has their own process and how they do things. You know, like you have us, Daniel, sticking it out with Daniel Jones in year 6. You know, I feel like if he was, let's say he was on a different team, hypothetical, let's say he was in Green Bay or something, he would not have lasted this long. You know, everyone has
Yeah.
their own different timelines. I don't think so. I mean, I think, if it's what's best for your team, regardless, to get, someone new, have a fresh start, get your guy, then I don't think it's a bad thing to move off of them too fast. Um, you have cases like, the Cardinals, for example, like, they drafted Josh Rosen at like what, number 2 overall, and then
Yeah.
they turned around and drafted Kyler Murray the next year. You know that
That's
that, that
bad.
was that was a layup. Josh Rosen was just so bad, and Zach Wilson got his fair chance. On the other hand, with the Jets, he had several years of getting a chance. Even last year, he wasn't supposed to get a chance last year. It was supposed to be one of the first times he was backing up in his career, but hey, he's trash. I think front offices can see pretty well when something's not working. For the most part. So I don't think they move off of them too quick. It's a little different now because like before, like they would sit for several years, at least a year, if not more, to learn and take in the game, and then they would get put out there in like a couple years. Now it's like you draft a quarterback in the top 10, like they're automatically starting. Like even top half of the draft, sometimes they're automatically starting. But yeah, I don't think they give up on him too quick. It's just the timeline is, it's accelerated because a lot of the young rookie quarterbacks are starting right away versus sitting. So it could screw their head. Some it can screw their head up. Perhaps they're not ready, but you know that's the business of the NFL. If you're not ready, if you can't compete, then you're out of there. So
That is facts. Yeah, this is like 50-50 to me because I know the NFL is a business at the end of the day. So teams and front offices think in a business standpoint at times. I just feel like the if you're an NFL quarterback, a young prospect or a young rookie, your timeline is short, like you said. I feel like nowadays you only have at least a year or two, if you're lucky, 3 years to show the franchise you're worth the money, or they'll find a way to get you out of town, trade you, or the worst, release you. And
mhm.
young quarterbacks really don't get a chance to get that 4 to 5 years like they're doing their rookie contracts anymore to make mistakes or show they can show like growth and improvement because you got to move fast in the NFL now because they'll move off of you. An example of this is Peyton Manning's rookie year back in the late '90s. That man's rookie year was ferocious. It was ferocious. 26 passing touchdowns, 28 interceptions, but then he went on to become one of the greatest of all time. I feel like a lot of young quarterbacks failed because of how they're developed or how the coaching staff quickly is there from 1 year, but a bad year, you get a whole new coaching staff and a new playbook to learn. I think sometimes these young quarterbacks fail to realize that you got to learn how to read defenses at a different level than college to the
Yeah,
NFL. You got
yeah,
to read coverages differently. Guys like Zach Wilson, who was viewed as a top talent from BYU for whatever reason, I feel like he wasn't really developed that way. Or I feel like people that have struggled in the past, like even though Josh Rosen wasn't the best, even though he got dumped out of Arizona in a year, I felt like when you lose a coaching staff that you start with, it's fair game. Like if there's a new coaching staff coming in, a new front office coming in, you're fresh meat to be either released or traded because you could possibly not be in their plan. So I think the business standpoint hurts a lot of young quarterbacks now because it's fair game if the guy you start as your head coach is fired in a year or so and the next guy doesn't have you in their plans. It just sucks. But there are a lot of quarterbacks that you already know they don't have it, and once they wipe their hands clean of them, it was for the best 90% of the time. But I
Yeah.
believe it is harder for compared to how it was years ago to compare to how it is now for young quarterbacks to really grow in the NFL. And their timelines are really short too of when it's time to grow or how much time can you learn from your mistakes and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
yeah, I feel like I don't. I feel like this draft class though is gonna have like the guys that Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. They'll have enough time, but it just sucks for the other quarterbacks who didn't get enough time in the past though. Unfortunately,
Bro, Drake May has like nothing to work with in his situation.
no,
What do they have?
nothing.
They have no potential. I mean, they have a one good receiver, like rookie receiver, Jalen Polk or something like that. He's pretty good, but that's about it. They don't got nothing.
Oh yeah, I think he played with Washington with um
Yeah,
Penix, but yeah, they have nothing.
not a damn thing. They might be one of bottom two in the NFL. Honestly,
They're definitely a lock-in pick to have a top 5 pick again for sure.
yeah, yeah. It's probably for the best, to be honest. They need it.
All right, so we're going to move on to the final segment. We're going to be sharing our NFL fantasy football tips. So, for our fantasy league this year, Rob, you won the first year. Then I had a co-title the second year, and then I finally got my own championship. So, from on the hop experience of for the podcast for our fantasy league, we are the only two people to say that we are real champions heading into year 4. So, what are some fantasy tips that you would like to share for fantasy football this upcoming NFL season?
Um, it's a little bit of a different animal now than it was when I first started playing. Years ago. Um, I think that running backs, personally, this is my opinion, right? You can think however you want. I'm not telling you how to draft. I think that running backs are worth less than they were, and I think quarterbacks and receivers are both worth more than they were before.
This is
Um,
facts.
you know, before like a couple years ago, I would say if whatever you do, don't draft a top quarterback. Don't even think about it. Just wait until the 10th round or ninth round,
Yeah,
which
I
you
remember we
still
both
could.
used to do the same thing. Yeah,
You still could. You could still get a good option. Mind you, you could still get a Matt Stafford or even I think Dak will go kind of late. Um, Brock Purdy, people like that, Jordan Love. There is a lot more good quarterbacks now, I feel like. But at the same time, it's like the difference now between top quarterbacks and like non like rushing like just like rushing quarterbacks in general. They're so valuable now. Like you have quarterbacks rushing for like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns with like 200 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Like that's an easy 30 points. That you could have versus 18.5 points from someone like Jared Goff, for example. He doesn't run, so like you have to rely on him getting 500 yards and passing. And that doesn't happen very often. So you
yeah,
know, dual threat quarterbacks are super valuable. I suggest you keep an eye on those. Don't draft them right away. Don't draft them with your first overall pick. Don't do that shit. But um, you know, start considering it when it's like the fourth, fifth round. Receivers receivers are worth more than they were before. You could, you could still, it's still a receiver deep draft. You could still get good receivers towards the back half of the draft, but you want to make sure you gobble up guys that get 10, 12 targets a game. Your Amon-Ra St. Browns, your Jamar Chases, Devontae Adams. By the way, Devontae Adams is going to go late in a lot of leagues. Keep an eye on him because that'll be a steal in the second round. But yeah, I personally think that grabbing, as many wide receiver ones as you can that get a bunch of targets is ideal. Look at under the radar guys too on worse teams, that are gonna get the large target share. It's harder with a lot of mouths to feed, in certain offenses like the Texans, for example. That's going to be a hard one to gauge with all the receiver talent that they have.
That's true.
It works out for some, like it works out for the Eagles, for example, with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. But you still have those games every once in a while where, let's say you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith goes off. More likely than not, A.J. Brown's not going to do nearly as well. Sometimes they both do well, but it's not always the way how it goes. You want to make sure you look at guys that are going to dominate the target share, getting 10, 12 targets every single game, night in, night out. And running backs, they're tough beast. Obviously, you want receiving backs on your team, especially if you're like me playing in a lot of PPR leagues. Our league is a PPR league, so I want backs that can catch the ball, not just your typical bruiser running backs. Derrick Henry's the exception because he'll probably get a bunch of carries. But I don't think drafting a running back early is as imperative as it used to be. I think you can wait a couple picks. I think you can get 2 stud receivers before you get a running back. I really do. That's in terms of my plan with our draft. I don't know. It depends on my pick, but if you can avoid it, I would wait to draft a running back. You could still get a very good starting running back, in the third round. But, I mean, if you have a chance to get like McCaffrey or Saquon, then take him. But, besides like them and like Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, there's some other good sleepers, that you could pick, So, all in all, defense, I really personally, I waiver pick defenses every week, every year. I don't really care about that. Um, try to get one of the top tight ends because the drop off is very severe after the top, 5, 6 guys. It's always been like that for tight ends. So I feel like it's gotten a little better in terms of like the young tight ends coming into the league, but I I just don't foresee a bunch of good tight ends, obviously. So it's hard to gauge that position. It really is. It's always nice having a great tight end, but at the same time, it's like, do you prioritize that or do you prioritize building out your receiver core and your running back room and all that? So, just a few thoughts I have, but obviously, what do I know? I have a ring, so.
Yeah. You had a lot of good key points there, Rob. The receiver, I definitely agree because everything has changed in PPR leagues for the better and makes fantasy more interesting instead of going with the same format of running backs, getting running backs first, because that's not the case anymore. I think receivers are the most important thing to grab in fantasy football leagues now. If you have the chance, I don't know how our draft order will be, but anybody for watching and listening, if you have the chance to draft players like CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, or St. Brown, get those players over running backs because if you don't have the number one pick or the luxury of getting Christian McCaffrey, I would get a receiver on number one over any running back in the first round for sure. I would say because me and you, Rob, did the same thing, quarterbacks, man, we used to do the same thing
Mm.
waiting until like the round 7 through 10 of getting a quarterback, and we would basically be one of the top teams left because everybody would just grab a quarterback first instead of prioritize a receiver or running back. I would say in the early rounds of maybe rounds 3 or 4, if Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson is available, or you could throw also Jalen Hurts in the conversation because he's one of those guys that the tush push, of course, when they get to the goal line, he gets you some easy rushing yard or rushing touchdown points. Maybe Josh Allen too.
Yeah,
Well, I wouldn't say Josh. I mean Josh Allen, yeah, but I would throw Josh Allen in there.
he's still
If
going
you
to score a lot of points, dude. He's going to run a lot, probably more than he did before. To be
That
honest.
is true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I would say if you have a chance to get your hands on one of those quarterbacks early, I would grab one of them. Lamar Jackson, I prioritize over any of them. If he's sitting there in round 3, heading to round 4, or round 4, he's still sitting there. I would get him. One thing, Rob, I will say, I have one more tip. You guys always got to pay attention to the waiver wire. I know me and you do a pretty good job of doing that.
Yeah.
But last year, what helped me win it all was getting guys like Brock Purdy when Justin Herbert early in the season wasn't really looking spectacular. And then, of course, he went down early in the season with season-ending injury. It was good I got Brock Purdy off the waiver wire because he helped me win it all. Sam Laporta, I got him week 1 when Travis Kelce couldn't go week 1.
I
So,
don't
and
know
I
how
held
no one drafted him, dude. What the hell?
yeah, I held on to. I think I traded Sam Laporta to you eventually because I didn't need him anymore.
Yeah, you did.
He was, yeah, and he was a good waiver wire pickup. Kyron Williams for the Rams at running back. Oh my gosh, he saved me for my running backs because I didn't go for a running back until like round 4 or 5 last year. But
Mm.
waiver wire, you can always find a player that should have been drafted, but in terms of only having like 15 to 16 picks, you're not worried about these players. Waiver wires really do help you win championships because they could be the deciding factor in your season when players are struggling or not playing the best or nobody really knows about them when they're about to take off. It's always good to hit the waiver wire up and see what you can get because those players later on down the line can really be difference makers for you winning a chip, especially in PPR leagues. So those 3 players, or I should say those 2 players, really helped me out. And Sam Laporta did help me out when Travis Kelce, the weeks he was banged up and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely waiver wire, pay attention to that. But yeah, Rob, I gotta go back to back this year, man. I got
Mm-hmm.
to.
I played. I was terrible last year. Eckler really screwed my team up. He really did. He screwed my team up. That's why. That's why I prioritize. That's one of the main reasons was because of that team that I'm prioritizing a receiver, wide receiver 1 over running back because, like, I don't want to go through that again. And I feel like running backs obviously get hurt more so than receivers because they're,
Yes.
in the trenches running through people every play. You're getting banged up. So, and they have shorter career spans. They have shorter, peaks, shorter, primes, um, whatever you want to call it. But I just I think receiver is much more important now, especially in PPR because you have people getting 10 catches, 12 catches, game in and game out, and that's just an easy 10 points. So why wouldn't you take that? Even if they got 60 yards, that's still an easy 16 points, which is a very respectable outing for a receiver. So, you know.
That is true. Yeah, and now I think about it, that is true for running backs. And I remember actually last year you picked right before me, and I had a really solid relationship with Austin Eckler in term for fantasy football. He's always been that touchdown gadget guy for me over the years when I did get a chance to get him. But last year was his fall off,
He fell
and
off hard, man. He fell off hard.
I'm glad you picked right before me because I would have picked him. Now, I was supposed to, Fred knows what happened. I was supposed to get Tyreek Hill at 5, but they auto-picked and for me because I wasn't on the app. I was on the app, but then the app, crashed. It closed out for me, and I ended up getting Travis Kelce. But it worked out for me. But, yeah, if I picked at 4, that definitely would have been my pick. So, thank you for last season for picking up Austin Eckler because if I had him, I probably would have had the same season that you had
Yeah,
for sure.
I should have picked Tyreek Hill. Now that I think about it, shit.
Well,
If
me
I'm
too.
in that number 4 slot again, I best believe I'm getting somebody like that this time. I ain't letting that happen again.
Yeah. It should be interesting though, for sure. The draft picks, I'll probably let you guys know that the day before, so everybody knows when they're gonna pick. We could all get on FaceTime like I did last year and randomize it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everybody will probably know their draft order the night before the draft. Definitely looking forward to it this year though, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for fantasy to come back. I've been waiting for it for a while, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's weird when it ends because like now you're like, what the hell? Like I feel like you're so invested in it, and then all of a sudden it's done, and then you just have nothing to really do with it for a minute. But
Yeah.
I was winning 2 years ago, and I auto drafted. You always auto drafting. Stop it. Stop with the excuses, man. Come on.
Dave, they auto drafting too.
Y'all gotta pay attention to your draft, man. Shit.
But we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up tonight. That is all the time we have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree and Rob Sarasulo signing off. Dave won't. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and we'll see you guys on next week's episode.
Deuces. See you,
All
Tom.
right.